Alright, hello and welcome to Sidorak Squid's A Squid's Eye View. Today we are reviewing Coyote. Now, Coyote is a low-budget film by Trevor Junger, who has done a lot of different films in the past, but this is definitely his most mainstream one. This is the one that really, brought him to the forefront. It's an absolutely fantastic movie. It's terrifying, but it's a lot of fun to watch. And you say, especially when you see it, you see it multiple times. You see new things every single time. So, and if you look up reviews for it, you'll see nothing but good reviews. Everybody loves it. Well, I mean, almost everybody. It's not for people who are squeamish, who don't like gore and don't like nudity. And don't go into this movie expecting a linear plot. This is very much an experience. It's more of an emotional like roller coaster ride, kind of like 2001: A Space Odyssey is more of an experience. Although I like this movie a lot better than I like 2001: A Space Odyssey. This movie is very. You'd have to see it to really understand or believe it. Really, you can get it on DVD. I have it on DVD, and I love having it on DVD. You also get like commentaries and stuff on the DVD, which is always fun to watch. You also get a short film called Trash Man. I haven't seen that. Haven't bothered to look at it. And it's very disturbing. I found it disturbing. Some people might find it funny. It's apparently a comedy. It's listed on IMDb as a comedy film, which I don't understand that. But I mean, there's a couple points that made me laugh, like the one point where he completely snaps and he's running around with just a coyote skull, coyote skin on taped to his head and his underwear. He's running around. He's stealing stuff from a supermarket and quoting Hamlet in the middle of a park. Shakespeare in the Park with a coyote on my head. And there's this one other moment in the very beginning when he was trying to write his mother. He fucks up on the thing and he just goes, "Fuck!" And that made me laugh. But yeah, this movie is very much, it's not a linear movie. It's more like a dream. It's very vague and disconcerting. I was very confused at first. I was like screaming at it, "Makes sense! Makes sense!" But then I realized what was happening. And I went, oh. And it's highly symbolic and metaphoric and cerebral. So it's not like a slasher film. It's kind of in your head, and it really makes you feel. I'm sure if there's a word for it. Really, I mean, for me, it just made me feel weird and like disturbed. And for several months after I first viewed it, I was like, I had weird dreams and I thought I was hearing things. Like, I thought I was going nuts. So it's kind of ambiguous too. The ending is ambiguous. The ending definitely left me feeling empty. Like, I don't know. I felt like there should have been more. But I've listened to some of Trevor Junger's interviews, and he says that was kind of the idea. Look it up. Like, Google Trevor Junger's interviews. It's Juenger, and definitely this one, the Future of Horrors podcast with director Trevor Junger. He does, he talks a lot about it on there. The film, basically, in a nutshell, the film is about a writer who's an insomniac because he suffers from horrible dreams. And instead of seeing a doctor about this, he decides, I'm just going to cut sleep out of my life completely. That's it. Going cold turkey, no sleep. And because he has no sleep, he goes insane, becomes paranoid, and is driven to terrible violence. He becomes an awful, awful person. The movie stars Bill Oberst Jr., who is always fantastic. He's a great person, period. End of story. He's an even better actor. And he really brings this character to life, brings the insanity to the forefront. This is kind of his forte, though, because I mean, if you look at his IMDb page, he's got like a handful of Hallmark movies that are like, lovey-dovey stuff, and then the rest of it is just like horror. He usually plays the bad guy or the killer. I've got a couple movies where he's actually the hero, but he's mostly the villain. He plays a good villain. He just got that face, and he knows it. He embraced it. He has lots of fun. He has a lot of fun in the movie, apparently, and which is surprising considering that they actually filmed this during the hottest summer on record in 138 years. 138 years. It was the hottest summer in Missouri, which like I can't even like think of that. I mean, how hot would that have to be? Living inside of a volcano hot. Oberst even said that by the end their brains were kind of fried, which really helped, I'm sure. Trevor Junger, he directs, he writes, he edits, and he was an executive producer. Oberst actually signed on as one of 4 producers. So and he didn't get like any money from this movie, which that's kind of typical for him though, because he loved the concept and he's just like, I have to do this. I totally want to do this. And Trevor says he's like, thank God I had this guy working with me, because I don't think this movie would have survived or succeeded in the way it did if he hadn't. Yeah, it was a low budget film made on only about $40,000, which in movie terms is like nothing. Trevor Younger's style is also, it's very reminiscent of like, I'm gonna say Dario Argento, the old Italian films. I mean, his story, nothing like it, but the cinematography is definitely out there. It's very, very weird, and it's incredibly interesting to watch. Which that was definitely probably my favorite part, was just watching the film. It's incredibly interesting to look at, and I'm also cerebrally oriented, so it was a lot of fun figuring it out, kind of thing. And you definitely have to see the movie more than once in order to, well, just get everything, to be honest. There's so much stuff in this film. It's very deep and very well thought out, and Trevor has expressed in interviews that at the time he was suffering from writer's block, and he was having bad dreams, and he was trying to just, it was like a coping mechanism. Writing this movie was a coping mechanism. He was getting out what he felt, just kind of making other people feel it. And that really sums up this movie. This movie is really very much just feeling. You are experiencing a descent into madness through the eyes of this other person. And it's really, really scary. Now, again, don't expect a linear plot going into this movie, so don't be like me and scream, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on, throughout, the first, 20 minutes, because you're not gonna get any answers. You're just not. It stars mostly Bill Oberst Jr. as, well, Bill, because Trevor once said that he actually wrote the script. He had Oberst in mind when he wrote the character down. And for the most part, the only other person that gets a large amount of screen time would be Jess, or Jessie, who kind of sort of plays Bill's girlfriend, kind of sort of. She's played by Victoria Mullen, and she's really good. She definitely is. She definitely plays the damsel really well, because she gets threatened, and I really, honest to God, think that Bill is going to hurt her. She really makes me feel that, and then ultimately when the shit starts to hit the fan, you definitely feel that sort of dread that she is feeling. She portrays it extremely well. Like, I was legit scared. I mean, I didn't like her character all that much, but I didn't really want her to die. Well, I'm not going to spoil anything. I would show, I'm going to show her a couple clips, but clips really do not do this film justice, because it's a film that relies almost completely on its atmosphere and completely on feeling. That's my review on Coyote. I definitely recommend this film. I definitely recommend the film. So you got to see it to understand it, and you definitely want to help out Trevor Junger and the indie community, because this is really where the only place that you're going to find any kind of originality anymore. Mainstream media is too scared to go out on a limb anymore, whereas as younger imaginative directors like Trevor, they're not, they're more passionate about it, and they risk failure because they love what they do, and because they really believe in their ideas and their projects. And you definitely should support that, because again, this is really the only place you're going to find interesting, different movies. So yeah, that's my review of Coyote. Sleep is the Enemy, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye bye.